Hello, you wonderful people. Thank you very much for your time in tuning back in again to Mr. Michael's channel for extraordinary young people. Today we're focusing upon study skills, and I'm going to make a claim, maybe a controversial claim, that there is no such thing as multitasking. Nowadays, we often have to multitask. We have to do more than one thing at once. And I often see people having a conversation whilst at the same time answering a message on WhatsApp. Maybe they have a headphone in one of their ears listening to music, doing all sorts of things at exactly the same time. Now, I believe that trying to multitask is like trying to have 3 separate conversations with these 3 gentlemen who are in front of you at exactly the same time. Imagine if the gentleman on the right-hand side was talking to you about a football match that took place yesterday. The man in the middle is telling you about what he's planning to have for lunch today. And the guy on the left-hand side is telling you where he's going to go on holiday in 2 weeks' time. Could you really have a conversation with all 3 of them at once? No, it's very unlikely. And why is that? Because you only have so much attention. So when the gentleman on the right is telling you about the football match, you have to direct your attention to him. But then the other 2 men start talking to you, so you take your attention away from the man speaking about football and you direct it to the other 2. Now this is a major problem because you have to give your attention to a task if you want to do it well. Now let me ask you a question. How many of you have sat down to study and watched the clock tick by, and after 30 minutes stood up and you can't remember anything that you've just read or any of the task that you've just completed during your study session? And I believe that that's quite common. And one of the reasons for that is because you had this wonderful, exciting device in your hand. Now, this device is called a mobile phone, and it has a tremendous amount of potential, but it's also an amazing distraction. So, I want to give you some advice. When you sit down to study in the future, I would like you to give your phone to your mum or your dad or your sibling, or if you're really, really disciplined, you can turn it off and put it somewhere in your room. But you know when that happens, you know when the phone is in the room and it's off, but you can just go and get it and turn it back on. It's a distraction. So the very best thing that you can possibly do is take the phone and give it to someone else. Put it outside the room so it no longer distracts you. But then some of you are saying, yeah, sometimes I use the phone to study. Sometimes I use an app to help me with my mathematics, or I look in the dictionary to find new words in English, or whatever else it is that you do. That's fine. So what you need to do is, if you're using the phone to study, you need to put it on airplane mode. And you saw the mode came a little bit late then. So when you put it on airplane mode, you're not going to be distracted by WhatsApp messages. You're not going to be distracted by your Instagram feed. Okay? And the last tip is, do not try and do more than one thing at once. Sometimes you sit down and say, you know what, yeah, I'll just put the TV on in the background, or I'll just have a YouTube video in the corner, I'll listen to it, but I will be studying. No, you won't. No, you won't. What I want you to do is focus entirely and totally, give all of your attention to your studies. Do not be distracted by YouTube. Do not be distracted by the internet. Do not be distracted by WhatsApp, whatever it may be. Okay? This is your task. When you sit down to study, give all of your attention to what is in front of you, and your studying will be far more effective. Thank you for listening, and I hope that helps. Take care.